Which is great. So it's 6:30, so I'll call the June 2026 meeting order. Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic
for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, liberty and justice for all.
First up is honors and presentations, special school district update.
Not ready. Okay. All right. Well, thank you for letting me present as small but mighty. So this is wonderful. I will kind of go through the pictures, but then also obviously provide some descriptions as we're going through each of the slides tonight. Pictures say 1,000 words. The first picture is the Jill Payton, for those of you who know her at graduation. She retired this year, and so we will definitely miss her. But what I love about this picture is this is why we work in education. So the joy, the celebrations, the excitement, and excited to see where she's also going to sub, so she'll be back. So she did promise me that. And then the second picture is our new physical therapist, Heather, and she did phenomenal. She had big shoes to fill. She is using our new space in that special ed suite with new equipment, and she's really revitalized what we're doing when we're thinking of big motor movement. And so she's done a really nice job the first year. And then that third picture is celebrating our partnership with Benchmark. And they have been great supporters of our Unified Special Olympics and Best Buddies program that Danielle Fox and Shayna Dorr lead. And so we were able to take a community access trip, which is, trying to teach safety over to that side of the road with our students this May and present them with a certificate and then a t-shirt, and he's wonderful over there. So we may have also visited the gas station for some treats, which was wonderful. So celebrations. Why are we here? All of the great things, our special education services, our professional development, our inclusive practices, our compliance and tiered monitoring this year, and then using our new spaces. So special education services, we have surveys that go out to our families, just like we do in Valley Park. And one of our questions on that to our families are rate the special education services that your students have received this school year. We were #1 in the county. So our response was 9.05 out of 10. And it's this team. This is the best team that I've ever had the honor to work with. So everything from here on out is because they are coming in here and doing what they do. Professional development, our focus was starting a life course this year. We had a very big loss on our team this fall. That loss was, Kim was also our teacher lead and champion of that professional development strand. And immediately we shifted, and it became not about professional development and well-being of the team and our staff and making sure that they were okay. So that professional development will continue and start up in August, and our staff will be ready for it. We were able to continue with 2 key pieces of professional development. So our RBTs, which are registered behavior technicians through ABA, our paraprofessionals, and then some of our auxiliary staff, so such as our nurse, our interpreter, went through a multi-day professional development around active engagement, active supervision, and then behavioral practices. So that we continued with. And then our teacher level staff just really dove into using iReady and NWEA with our partnership with Valley Park. Inclusive practices, I really spoke to Best Buddies and Unified Special Olympics. There's some pictures throughout the presentation, the 2 at the top. And it really has just provided us a great opportunity to take our students that have disabilities and our students that don't have disabilities and merge them into different groups throughout the school year. The focus has really been at the secondary level. We've used a lot of that wind time and some of the flexible service, that's flexible time around lunch to bring those two groups together and do a variety of activities, and it's been phenomenal. The other piece I wanted to celebrate is something that I'm really proud of is our coaching staff. And so we have a number of special school district staff members that coach for Valley Park. Alicia Wilson and Jamie Pappen are celebrated there on the picture. But the reason why I think of it as an inclusive practice is we pride ourselves as an administrative team that when you come on campus, you really do not know the difference on, is this a special school district staff member or Valley Park staff member? We had multiple teachers who coach with Girls on the Run, Carrie Benastia, Mary Turner. And so that's just another example of being inclusive throughout our campus. Compliance and tiered monitoring. Every 3 years, we go through our IEPs and our evaluations on the document side of things. It is laborious. We have a team of teachers, and in Valley Park, we literally go through every single IEP and every evaluation, and we submit 20 to the state. 100% in compliance this year. We were also the only county or the only district in St. Louis County in this cohort that was 100% in compliance, which means we had no corrective action as it relates to special education process. So another huge celebration for this team. And then using our spaces. So again, celebrating the opportunity to have really all of our therapies in one place and that conference room. And Emily LeBou is pictured there on the bottom left-hand corner with a student, and she is one of our RBTs. So just really having that private, discrete space to be able to do that therapy in was wonderful this year. Challenges. SSD is restructuring. It's very public. We are going through some financial changes. And while it is a challenge for the county, because of our team here in Valley Park and the expertise and the capacity and the tenure teachers that we have in staff, I don't think we will be hit as hard as a lot of the other districts will be across St. Louis County. Our instructional coaches across the county will be focusing on our new teachers, which they should, and our effective practice specialists around autism and behavior, and our literacy and math coaches will really focus on program-wide pieces and professional development. One of the pieces I'll get to when we're talking about effective use of staff here in Valley Park, a program as it's defined by a special school district here in Valley Park may be a student of one. And so that's something when I advocate for what we get here, it's always been important that our students in Valley Park, even if it's a program of one, will get access to the same resources that students in neighboring districts will get when they may have a classroom with that same focus. And so again, huge changes across St. Louis County and Valley Park, I think we'll be okay. And then closing the gap. Always important to look at, especially literacy and numeracy scores. The principals have talked about it throughout the year. Specifically, the one thing we look at is closing the gap as it relates to getting up to grade level. Our students with disabilities are not at grade level most of the time when we're looking at literacy and math. And we're looking at that stretch growth where we're getting closer to that grade level. The progress that we're looking at is 50%. At math, we're at 62. So we're really doing it in numeracy when we're looking at those K through 12 ratings. Numeracy, we're not there yet. And so that will be what we're going to focus on really hard with our curriculum, our resources, and then our student reviews. That is also just another picture of Best Buddies coming together, which one of our students from 2 years ago also designed that shirt, which I love. And but this is again the inclusion, right? So there are students and staff members across the board from all three buildings in that picture. And this is probably about a third of them who come together and support those activities. Commitments, programming and staff. So making sure, and this is the focus for Valley Park as well, that our staff have access and are using the right programs that we've vetted through special school district. We have a very big system through centralized purchasing that we're looking at those resources that are tried and true. So it's getting them in our staff hands and then making sure they know how to use them and then providing coaching support as they're using them. So if they're working, that's wonderful. If they're not, what do we need to do differently? And then that goes back to that effective use of staffing. The other part with staffing too is here in Valley Park, making sure we have that continuum of services and that least restrictive setting. Again, it's a little bit tougher sometimes in our smaller district because we're talking about maybe 1 or 2 students that need a specialized support and making sure that we're able to do that even with our size. Then making sure that everything is connected to the right budget priorities and fiscal responsibility. And that's really through me. So when we're ordering things, when we're going on trips and we're doing those pieces, does it connect back to our students' IEPs, what our services look and sound like, and then aligning that with Valley Park's priorities as well. Picture highlights in the top left. I believe that's Mary Turner, and we do a lot with assistive technology. So just making sure we're using those enhanced resources with our students. And the picture on the right, we had a student who went through the Fred Side leadership program this year. And not only did he graduate through the program, he actually was recognized with an award at that graduation as well. And then the student on the bottom is through our CBVI program. So that's that community vocational program, which we're going out into the work site and we're teaching work skills. Carolyn does it. She's done it for a number of years. It's phenomenal. And this is one of our students working at Merrimack Plus. Where do we go from here? Continuing to look at that specially designed instruction, and what we're really going to shift and look at that secondary level is a flexible service model. So again, we may have one student who needs direct instruction in 6th grade in language arts. That's a huge staffing commitment for one student. So how do we get that student what they need, that specially designed special education instruction in the general education classroom, but also thinking about the implications of staffing. There are districts that have been doing this around the county for a number of years, and we will take that on this upcoming school year. IEP process, so going back to that commitment of charting the life course. The special education staff will be trained very extensively this year. We will also provide a modified training to the general education staff so that they know what that role looks like. It's a little bit different for them. And then providing those supports for our families as well in that process. Redefining and just rejuvenating our data team practices, very similar to Valley Park with working with our PLCs, making sure that we're looking at the right data. We know what we're looking at, how we're going to problem solve around students, and making sure that we have an alignment across all of those teams. And then the last piece is we had an opportunity to partner with Special School District on a data integration project called Education Analytics. And it's a partnership with WarNet. And basically it's a one-stop shopping for that data. So we have all this great data from Valley Park. We have all this great data from SSD. And right now we have to go to 2 places to get it. So we are merging those pieces. This year, it is just looking at our students with IEPs. But we will be able to use it in those data teams. We'll be able to use it in that IEP and it'll drive our instruction. And I don't love all being on the front end of initiatives, but this is a really good one because we're small and we're really, like, we can work really closely with that data and give some really good feedback on this is what works and this is what doesn't work as we're rolling it out to other places in the county. And then just highlights for the pictures, that top picture. During our conference time, our students that are in more of our specialized classrooms, we have daily homeschool communication. And so really looking and optimizing that conference time to not just communicate with our families, but extend their learning and provide some opportunities. And this one was specifically on charting the life course. And in the fall, we did one all around augmentative communication. And then Nikki White is on the bottom with one of our youngest learners at Special Olympics, and clearly he is not having fun at all. I am proud to be the director of Valley Park. This is the end of my 13th year. And it is always a pleasure to present the wonderful things that our team does. And again, this is the best team I've ever worked with, so very proud. Any questions?
Just give them a really quick explanation of what charting the life course is.
Sure. So typically that traditional IEP process is you're going through kind of the IEP document, you're going through a present level, which is 2 to 3 pages. You're going through what our goals are, services, and it's really paper heavy, I would say, with the process. It doesn't sound real personal. Charting the life course is really changing it to the trajectory, having a lot of student voice embedded through the process. Looking at where do we want that student to be when they leave Valley Park High School, whether it's a 5-year-old, a 12-year-old, or an 18-year-old. really looking at, these are the skills that we have, these are the skills that we need, and how do we close that gap to get there? There's really good tools through the parent piece of it with parent voice. And then again, the student is very involved in that process as well. I do think there have been some kinks rolling it out because there are some complicated IEPs where you have to just get to the meat of the process. And so I think by the time we go through it in August, some of those pieces will be cleaned up a little bit. So it's probably wasn't the worst thing in the world for us to pause and roll it out in this August versus last August.
Thank you.
Any other questions?
I don't have a question, but I have a comment. I just want to say, being the governing council rep,
Thank you for that.
that's your very first, note that there are some incredible things going on and adjustments and whatnot. I just want to thank you because I can sit there and just think about how awesome our program is, and you're right, your team is amazing, and I hear a lot of, talk about other things and whatnot, but thank you for having such an incredible program. And I get really good feedback from community members about it. And, I won't get personal, but, someone in particular who just sings your praises, and they are so, so happy they came here and have this program for their child. So thank you.
You're welcome. It's been a pleasure, and I, left a larger district to come to a smaller district, and it was the best thing that I've ever done. So this is my 29th year, I think, in education. So it was wrapping up year 13 here, which is, Pete, you missed it. This was old school presenting in this room. Yeah, I've been here. So,
We'll be here in
I've
July.
been very appreciative as well. Utilizing your services and staff.
Well, thank you. And one thing I do pride myself on is, we don't have a real active, like a pack group and other things. And I'm like, well, I think it's because we're doing it right and that I'm visible and I want access to all of my family. So I don't need them to go somewhere else to get the information that I would be able to provide it. So. All right, thanks.
Thank you.
Very much.
All right, next up is approval of the agenda. Can I get a motion to approve the agenda?
I'll make a motion.
Can I get a second?
I'll second.
All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, agenda is approved, no public comment. Consent, moving on to consent items 501 through 508. Does anybody want to pull any out for separate consideration? No. All right, can I get a motion to approve consent items 501 through 508? I make a motion. Can I get a second?
Second.
All those in favor, say aye.
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 Any opposed? All right, consent items 501 through 508 pass. Can I get a motion to adjourn? I'll make a motion. Can I get a second?
I'll
Second.
Okay. Alicia?
Aye.
Ethan?
Aye.
Becky?
Aye.
Aye.